This is a live video production presented to you by stephendcomics of SD Comics. We apologize for any delays you may have experienced during production, as this is still all new to everyone involved. But we are ready to finally begin, so please sit back, relax, grab yourself a snack, or bring your furry friend or whatever you have, and enjoy the madness. Okay, this is probably a bit of an awkward look here, but yeah, let's get the elephant out of the room. There was a lot of frustrating bits going on behind the scenes, so I'm a bit stuck up here at the moment as I've been figuring things out. So just give me a minute and I'll work my way down, kind of give you an excuse to show off every little bit of my model, but so what happened was, OBS had some kind of... Well, actually, I don't even think it's OBS. I think it was like NVIDIA or something, but there was some kind of update going on as soon as I hit live, right at 12:30 when I said I was gonna start streaming. It wouldn't work. It updated some sort of thing, I think, but it gave me this weird error message, didn't say anything clearly, so work my way down here. Yeah, and there's my feet. Get that all out of your system, you sickos. But what happened was, with that error message, I looked it up, and I guess there was something to do with NVIDIA, so I updated the drivers twice, but that did literally nothing. So, what I did was... After that, I just looked it up with this specific error, and all I had to do was change the what was it? The output encoder thing or whatever. There's my way down here. And that seemed to have did it, but for some reason YouTube wasn't connecting with OBS with the stream. And I've just been spending the past 3 hours, 3.5 hours-ish, trying to look up what the deal was. I was freaking out on Twitter. I sent out a message in Discord, but haven't heard anything. But then I just stumbled across something talking about the video output for stream. And I guess that's actually the other thing. I think it was kind of my own fault because I did some tweaking with the screens that I have for the start screen, like you just saw, but also the break screen and ending screen. And those, let me just get myself down here, get my lips. Pretty sure what happened, what I did was I changed the thing to change the size so it was full screen rather than like with the black bars at the side. I did it differently than what I did with reshaping VTube Studio here to get it full screen. And I think that messed with the screen size, and that kept me from being able to stream on YouTube, because I fiddled with it again right before I went live. I did it privately to test it out, and the video quality was apparently really shitty, and so I had to reconfigure it the other way, because the other way I did it was messing with the stream and keeping me from going live. But yeah, I just figured that out, and I am now officially live. And I am done doing odd maintenance, whatever the hell I was doing up here, so I'll just... And yes, here I am. Hello. Stephen D. Comics is the name, and streaming is finally my game, after so long of doing prep work and all that and making all those dumb skits. I'm finally going live. What the results of all this is going to be, who knows. But yeah, finally doing it. And probably noticed that, yes, I actually have a whole room here rather than just the blank white void that I've been shooting videos in. I had all this set up for a while now, actually. I just wanted to save it for the debut, something special. But suppose most normal VTubers do during debuts is show off their model, but like I said, I did video skits. I kind of did everything right out the bat. Guess kind of out of impatience, but I'm the kind of guy that just likes to get to the meat of things, you know? Like, I would really rather make my first live stream an actual game, you know, but figure, you know, the common thing is to get to know the person, get to know me, and this will be out in the wild. So I guess we can just take a look at whatever, but actually I go over a little bit in my actual slides, so why don't I just show off the room a little bit, because that's totally new. I have never shown this off, not on Twitter or in my YouTube videos or whatever, but this is a little abandoned studio apartment, not connected to Bendy and the Ink Machine. I can't help but feel like people will make that connection. Don't know why though, but whatever. But yeah, just been squatting here all this time. Got this little setup here, made myself at home. Got me this cheap little rug over here. Got myself a little desk set up. I have all my drawing stuff, a pencil, eraser, working on my magnum opus over here. It's unfinished, but I have a feeling if I put the time and effort into it, it will be my greatest masterpiece. Or not. I don't know. I also have a little mug of root beer over there that I keep my pens in. That's nice. Oh, and this is just something I thought of randomly. How do you like my desk lamp? Get it? Desk lamp? It's an oil lamp. You want to make a wish? It's a really stupid pun, but I guess that's another thing about me. I love puns. Except like bee puns and ice puns. I don't know why, but those feel especially lazy to me. I don't know if it's just bad movies or whatever, but it feels like those are just super low effort puns. I don't know. I'm getting distracted. I also have a little printer and scanner over there because that's how I used to draw my comics. I used to hand draw them before I got a tablet, which I did not draw. It's somewhere around here somewhere. Speaking of drawings, I posted a couple of little drawings here, random miscellaneous doodles of some of my favorite video games. Get a little game of Spot the Reference. I also have these three little guys up here. I gotta be honest, I don't really know what they are. I was making the screens for my, for the starting screen, the ending screen, and the break screen, and I just kind of drew these characters just to like a little let's all go to the lobby gag. But I didn't really have any plans for them. I might want to do something. I feel tempted. I don't know, but you know, they're just kind of, I mean, they're just at least there. Cute little visual. Add some flavor to the room. Also this little diamond thingy up here. I wonder what that could possibly be. Certainly wouldn't be a shameless plug or anything. Except my shameless plug's over here. Heyo. God, this is kind of awkward, isn't it? Are all debuts this fucking awkward? I don't know. This is why I'd rather do games, but you know, wanted to get to know me, and you know what better way to do that than to go onto the slides. The slides are a good way to getting started, so I'm gonna switch over to my break screen so you get a look at that, and I'm gonna get things started. So switch. And they're the little guys I was talking about before. Oh, let's all go to the lobby thing. Speaking of which, I wanted to look it up, but is Let's All Go to the Lobby copyrighted? Like, it's gotta be old as all hell. And you probably noticed with the start that I don't really have any music going. I honestly don't know what to do with music because of copywriting and all that stuff. It just seems like really messy to do, and even getting like royalty-free, non-copyrighted music, that just sounds kind of, I don't know. It's it always seems like there's like extra steps involved, and I don't really know anyone working in music that I could commission, at least yet, to make something kind of old school cartoony or jazzy. I have a brother that does some music recording stuff, but I didn't really want to bother him with any of my shenanigans when I don't even have a clear plan. But yeah, I don't know. But you know, it's just starting off. We'll see how things go. So I think I have it. So I think it should be good. Let me just switch over to the... Oh, whoops, hold on. Forgot, but yeah, anyway, yeah, so that was the first screen for stephendcomics. New mess in VTubing. You could probably freeze frame that. But yes, so me. My name is, of course, stephendcomics, as I mentioned before, and it's pronounced as it sounds, Stephen D. Comics, not Stephen, not Stephen spelled with a V. I've been getting that a lot since at least high school, and I figured I'd want to bite the bullet on that, and just, wait, no, bite the bullet, what? I want to make sure I get that clear out of the way. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of in the way here. Why don't I move over? Actually, sorry. Nope. Sorry. Meant to do that before. I got distracted with my own bullshit, but kind of want to move myself out of the way so you see the full reference sheet that I drew there. I've never drawn a reference sheet before. You could probably tell, but you know, that's all I am. But anyway, stick to the scripts, my list. My name is Stephen D. Comics. Age, this is a show that has been going around for 27 seasons now. Probably way too long, like The Simpsons, but you know what? We're keeping it going. We're gonna try. We might hit our second win sometime in the next 10 or so seasons. Who knows? My birthday is August 8th. I've been, my phone's going off. I can't even hear it. It's a spam call. Who cares? But yeah, birthday is August 8th. We've already passed that. Height, I'm 5'5" or 165 centimeters in units that actually make sense. I'm sorry, I gotta ask, just because the internet hasn't really given me a straight answer. Is 5'5" considered short? It's like, I don't know, there was like the whole throw short person people day, and they were saying like below 5'6", but then they changed it to below 5'4", and it's like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people taller than me, but you know, there's super short, but I mean, it's average. It's got to be average, right? Come on. Wait. I honestly don't remember my exact weight, just because I haven't weighed myself since I got my driver's license, I think. Probably even before that, but I'm a bit on the chunky side. Don't let the t-shirt fool you. This is a surprisingly slimming t-shirt. I do have a bit of a gut. It is hidden really well. Yeah, but I got some fat. I don't really care that much, but, you know, I think it gives me personality. Either that or that's just the old stereotypes of the fat, lazy, comic relief characters, but I don't know. And yes, species, I am a cartoon. Or at least something pseudo-cartoonish from the 1930s. In that kind of style. Again, sort of, not exact. There are most cartoons that have a bit thicker lines for arms and legs and have more than 3 fingers. But the biggest takeaway that I want to point out is the fact that drawn and rigged by myself. I don't really know anyone, and I'm too socially awkward and scared to reach out to people to try and figure things out, but I just thought, I'm an artist, I could try doing this myself, and if I can just be allowed to gush for a minute, this is kind of crazy to me, because I have been drawing for my entire life, pretty much. I've established this style that I've had through years of just messing around, and it's I've never done animation. I've drawn constantly, but I've never tried doing, like, making it all move or anything. It's weird to me seeing my art style in motion. Very rough. This is like the first time I've ever made a model or done anything like this. There's definitely a lot of issues and all that, but it's yeah, it's kind of surreal. It blows my mind just seeing my stuff in motion, and it makes me all the more excited to just get into doing something like this, because this is really cool. I'm looking forward to the potential and what I could do with all of this stuff. If I can find the time outside of just streaming and other stuff, you know, that's going to be something else we get to. I'm going to turn on a light. It's getting kind of dark in here. Just a sec. Watch me spasm out a little bit. So I was supposed to have streamed in the afternoon when it was brighter and there was some sunlight out, but no, things just had to go awry. All right, let's get to the next page already. Yes, this is actually kind of a busy page right here. I'm just gonna shrink myself down a little bit. So I have actually been in the content creation space. Sorry, I had a burp. For about 7.5 years now. I have been under the moniker of SD Comics. I've been posting comics on Tumblr since 2015, after I wrapped up my freshman year of college. Then I expanded into Instagram in 2017, and then it wasn't until just a couple of years ago I went on the ever-deteriorating health site that is Twitter. And yeah, these are all of my handles: SDComics525 for Tumblr, SD.comics for Instagram, and @ComicsSD for Twitter. I have a link tree up on my on all of my socials, so if you want to try and find me, I'm kind of all over there. There's kind of a lot going on here, but yeah, pretty much for the first 2 years posting comics, I just drew a bunch of miscellaneous parodies and jokes about different video games and stuff. So I kind of went through and tried to pick some of my favorites. It's kind of busy, but most people are moving back onto Tumblr now because Twitter's becoming more of a mess. And you could follow me and you can go to my archives and find some of my old stuff. Not everything's perfect by any means, but I feel like I had some gems here. There's actually some stuff that I drew way back in high school that I redrew and cleaned up. I think probably one of the best comics I ever drew was that logo in the middle, Super Smash Minions. It's basically just a bunch of video game minions, a Goomba, Octorok, Waddle Dee, etc., trying to make their own Smash Brothers game and failing, and kind of wouldn't mind redrawing that one through my tablet, because that's another thing you probably notice about all this. I didn't have a tablet until just a couple of years ago, so originally I just drew my comics on paper by hand and then scanned them through my printer, and then posted them. So it's a bit rougher, but I think, I don't know, it's a lot of work to kind of just go back and redraw them from scratch, but I wouldn't mind going back and redrawing Super Smash Minions, especially if you're interested enough. If you are, let me know. But yeah, this was my approach for the first couple of years. But then Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, actually. And I loved it to the point where I wanted to make a parody comic series about it. A retrospective based on my actual playthrough of it. And I have been posting it since about like the late summer after it came out, which was 2017, I think. God, it's been a while, and we're already getting the next one. But yeah, it's been a huge undertaking. I only posted the cover art here because, as you saw previously, it's a bit busy. But yeah, there are like over 600 comics I have drawn based on various jokes and observational humor of my playthrough of Breath of the Wild. But yeah, I've done a lot, and I'm almost done, actually. It says down here that the only thing I have left to do is the DLC stuff, which is actually, kind of spoiler alert, about 200 comics left to draw. But yeah, I'm kind of taking a break from comic work right now, or drawing. Well, almost. I'm doing some stuff, but I'm going to take a little bit of a drawing hiatus. But later, I'm going to get around to get back to work on A Breath of Fresh Air, get the next cover art drawn up, and draw comics, and I should actually be totally done by 2023. That'll be the first proper comic project I've actually finished drawing. That's a milestone I've ever hit before. I'm kind of excited about finally finishing something, but that's not all. There's also That Shield Kid. So a couple years ago, I kind of, in a bit of, I guess you could call fatigue from drawing something like Breath of the Wild, or Breath of Fresh Air, I mean, and doing like parodies and trying to recreate established characters in my art style. It got to a point where I kind of felt exhausted, and I used to be better about drawing characters freehand, or at least being willing to. And I thought maybe trying to do an original story would kind of help get me in a bit of a groove again. So I decided to make an original series. I call it That Shield Kid. It's a story about a dumb, starry-eyed young boy who, after his childhood friend becomes marked as the new reincarnation of a legendary hero, decides he wants to be a hero in his own right. So he uses an absurdly powerful shield and joins forces with a bunch of wacky ne'er-do-wells, I guess you'd call them, and goes on a bunch of misadventures trying to prove himself to be a hero in his own right. It's simple, but I feel pretty good about it. And currently there are 4 chapters. Tomorrow on my Instagram and Tumblr, I'm going to post the final couple of pages for chapter 4, but I've also been cleaning them up and posting them on Webtoons as well, because it's easier to navigate past pages on a site like Webtoons. And I'm scheduling those to be updated on Sundays. Currently, I only have the first couple of pages of chapter 4. Also, a bit of a warning on those is that I was kind of forced to censor the violence because of Webtoons rules. I wasn't sure how strict they were about excessive gore or mutilations or things like that. But yeah, my comic is not for kids. It's cartoony looking, but there's swearing, there's violence, and all sorts of nasty stuff. And I had to kind of tone down the violence a little bit for Webtoons, but I still think it's decent enough, at least for what it is. If you want to check it out, there's also a link to my Webtoons and my socials, so want to feel free to give that a shot. Also worth noting is the fact that not only have I been into VTubers, but I've actually been drawing a bunch. These are some, I mean, it's kind of cheap, feels kind of cheap to put this in here, but I gotta be honest, I think these are some of the best things I've ever drawn. Like, VTuber designs, like, there's some crazy, really cool looking designs out there, and yeah, I'm a bit simpler by comparison, but I don't know, that's just part of my style, you know? But yeah, honestly, I've enjoyed drawing VTubers, and there's some really cool designs out there, and I have plenty more than I'm going to draw. I'm actually thinking of drawing the Niji-Sanji EN VTubers next when I get the time, but we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'll stay out of my way. You can admire the work. I've only been posting them on Twitter, but I use the fan art tags if that's still viable. Some of these are actually about a year old, so it might not work all that well, but yeah. Fuck. I was supposed to come up with lore. That is a whole VTuber thing, isn't it? Having a story behind your model. Well, to be brutally honest, I never really was concerned about making a whole character. I was just fine with being me, but I don't know. I see lore videos, and especially the stuff that Merryweather did for VShojo. That was I don't know. They're pretty cool. It's like I kind of wouldn't mind making a whole story behind it, and it's like, wow. I don't know, but I didn't feel like it was worth stressing about with everything else. No. You know what? Fuck it. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna improvise. I'm gonna improvise lore. Why not? I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna have to make things up on the fly when I go live anyway. It's just good practice, you know? So how about we try and think of what could be the lore for part-time cartoon VTuber stephendcomics? I think I got something. All right, let me just get ready. Ahem. Hold on, let me get a proper radio voice. Testing. 1, 2, 3. How does this sound? Old-timey radio voice. How are we sounding? Presenting stephendcomics fuck. Sucks about going live instead of recording. I can't just cut out all dumb bits. I don't know. Maybe if I'm feeling bold enough to do highlights, I'll do something. But anyway, in the turn of the 20th century, America was recovering from various economic crises, bogus political nonsense, and of course recovering from what would be known as the waifu wars of .9. But in that event, came the rise of particular people coming out of Japan, people that seem to have been drawn by hand, coming from various places or starts of origin. Okay, fuck, this is sounding really fucking cringe. Do I really have to do this? Can I just... You know what, I'm going into... I could make a lore video later. I kind of had an idea of doing fucking, what is it, like the old, like America was responding to Japan making a bunch of YouTubers in a time when, you know, like in the 30s, they were trying to be better than everyone else and, you know, well, that's actually technically past Manifest Destiny, I don't know. My history's a bit rough, but it was going to be like they're trying to make a cartoon VTuber to match with the popular anime ones, but things fell apart and they just lost interest, and so it just kind of, maybe like some kind of congenial ink blob of something hanging behind while it just absorbed media and references. Because I make a lot of references, I figured I could tie that together. But you know what, I've got bigger rice to make a shrimp fry. I can come back to this at a later date, maybe when people care a bit more, or at least when I care a bit more. But yeah, you know what? We'll put the lore at the side. Right now, it's just me. It's just stephendcomics. And I think that should be enough. Speaking of stephendcomics, and a little bit enough, here's a little bit about me. In essence, I'm just a awkward-ass cartoon weirdo who wants to just try streaming. Figured I've labeled the awkward part down. So what do I like to do? First and foremost, I like drawing, obviously, and I'm also really into writing. Those two mesh well together for comics. I also play video games, obsess about video games, mostly Nintendo. Throw that out of the way, but yes, I mess around on the internet a lot. I feel like I've become a little too connected over the past couple of decades. Yeah. I also play violin. Technically, that should be past tense because I have not touched my violin in a few years. Kind of got hard to find the time with college and just everything else. And actually, here's a weird story. So here's something funky about when I learned violin. So took violin lessons for 8 years. My teacher was great. Thought she was fantastic. The only real problem that I have is she never taught how to tune. She always did the tuning herself. And I get it for like little kids and people who are new to violin, because she took students from all sorts of different ages. But it's like when you get at a certain point, whether you're old enough or you become more competent with using your instrument, it should be like a higher enough priority to teach how to tune, because that's a pretty vital skill to have, you know? And especially for people like me who stopped taking lessons because I was going into college and I wouldn't have the time to drive back out to take more lessons. And 8 years, I thought. After 8 years, I was decent enough. I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, I tried to learn how to tune online. I thought I did okay. Well, I had the breaking strings incident that I feel like is probably common practice for people first learning how to tune. But after that, I gave it another try, and it seemed to have worked fine. But then the next time I opened up my case, my violin was basically in pieces. Like, maybe it was tuned too tight or something, but it's like, kind of feels like the strings pulled at the bottom chunk where the strings are attached and where you have the smaller tuning knobs. But yeah, it just kind of fell apart, and I never looked up how to fix it or how I could avoid that in the future. So part of it's kind of been that I've been turned off to playing violin, but I would love to one of these days. I do genuinely miss that. Okay, that's a long enough of a tangent about violin. What are my likes? Comedy, of course. I don't know, that feels like kind of a given, but I just love laughing and making people laugh. Like, my goal is always to just try and focus on the lighter side of things and just give people a reason to smile. That's all my end goal with getting into content creation really is. In the end, I just want to try to bring some smiles, you know? I also enjoy sleeping. I'm probably one of the few VTubers with a mostly healthy sleep schedule, though I kind of have to because I work, but I'll touch more on that later. I love reading. I thoroughly enjoy a good book or something, or at least something fun to read. Music, I'm a huge music appreciator. I come from a very musical family, primarily from my mom's side. If I had to pick a favorite meal, it would be chicken and fries. Either tenders or nuggets, whatever. Fried chicken, french fries, it's great. Root beer, probably one of my favorite drinks, one of my favorite sodas. I've been dabbling more in ginger ale the past couple of years, but root beer is always my go-to. I do love ice cream. It's usually my dessert of choice as often as I can get it. My favorites are chocolate, anything chocolate flavored, cookies and cream, and mint chip. And because I know people are going to say it, no, mint chip does not taste like toothpaste. Do you want to know what you're telling me when you say that? You are telling me that either you've never actually tasted mint chip, so you don't know, and you're just making assumptions, or you don't brush your teeth. And that is nasty. that is not an assumption I want to make about you. If you're better, I don't know. It's one of those things like with pineapple on pizza it's been a thing for ages that people have only really started talking about recently. Or at least it feels like they started talking about recently. Despite how long they've been around, that's just become a thing that people like to hate or defend, but no, mint chip is not toothpaste. Educate yourselves and stop spreading lies and slander. I also thoroughly enjoy making references, probably a little too much. Might say my humor's a little too focused on that, but nah, you can't make too many references. Family Guy seems to do fine with it. Oh, and also making lists. I think my biggest motivation for doing a debut stream is to make lists like this. It's kind of weird, but I enjoy doing stuff like that, like this. It's fun. I don't know why. Dislikes, any dislikes, alcohol. That's probably going to be one of the weirdest things about me when people learn, is that I cannot stand the taste of alcohol. Like, funny story. When I was a kid, about 15-ish, we were at a birthday party for my grandpa, and my oldest brother, he got me a drink. He got me some water, or at least he told me it was water. I took a sip from it. It was not water. It was like vodka or something. And it was a prank, and it tasted nasty. And I feel like in a way it was actually a good thing that he did that, because that was how I learned that alcohol tastes disgusting. Hot take, I know, but I can't do it. And then after I turned 21, I tried a couple different stuff. I tried a beer. I even tried this really fruity stuff that barely has any alcohol in it. No, it did nothing. Anything that has even a little alcohol in it, it just ruins the taste for me. And if I don't enjoy the taste, what's the point? I'm probably going to die of a heart attack and or diabetes from that kind of mentality, but we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Speaking of which, don't really like exercise. I'm a lazy homebody, and I'm trying to do at least a little bit to keep my body moving. Not a whole lot. I do something in the mornings and at nights. You know how Winnie the Pooh has his little stoutness exercises? It's basically that. Every day and every night I do one little routine, and just count that as my physical activity. Or I'll try and take walks during my breaks at work, if I can, but that's about it. And this is probably a random one, but if there's any, one particular anime trope that I am just not a fan of, it's tsunderes. I don't understand how that can be a compelling love interest. Toradora, I think, is the only anime that I've seen that has a tsundere main love interest that worked. But it's still a rough ride, and just other than that, I just cannot stand the character trope. Just, if it's a character that's more believable to be likable, Anything else? People who don't have a grasp on empathy. I've been around the block, and I've been on Twitter long enough to see all kinds of different drama and issues, and it seems a lot of it kind of just, at least from my perspective, feels like parts of it stem from just a lack of trying to put yourself in other shoes. All you need to do is just put yourself in another person's perspective. If whatever you're doing is something that you wouldn't like to be done onto you, why would you want to do that to other people? Why would you want to make them feel shitty? It's really not a fucking difficult concept to grasp. And I don't know. It baffles me that it doesn't seem to cross people's minds. Anything else I don't like is talking. Makes this a bit of an odd career path for myself. But anyway, favorite video games. So yeah, I do game. I have a couple of fair games that I enjoy. I just realized there's a spacing error in that is going to bug the ever-loving shit out of me. Let's try and get through this slide fast, but I tried to organize them in some of my favorites. Super Smash Brothers and Kingdom Hearts are like my two all-time favorite video game franchises. Zelda, Mario Kart, all of them. Like, these are all games that I thoroughly enjoy playing or have enjoyed playing. That's sort of shaped my taste in games and kind of stories and even music taste, for like Brutal Legend and Guitar Hero, that have shaped me into the kind of gamer I am today. And yeah, I'm hoping to share some of that love or show some of that onto you with some of my game choices, like Smash Brothers. But we'll see to that tomorrow, as long as I don't stumble upon any other issues. Okay. And yes, since I am a cartoon, I do have my fair share of favorite cartoons that I enjoy watching. Tried to separate it out with stuff for kids and stuff from like my childhood specifically, and for stuff geared towards adults because, hey, here's a no-brainer. Animation can be enjoyed by other people. If only someone can tell Warner Brothers Discovery executives about that. But yeah, they're pretty massive list. I don't know if I want to just read through every one of them or if you want to go through them on your own time. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, there's like a couple of these like SpongeBob and Family Guy, like parts of them that I do enjoy, but there's others that do kind of decrease in quality. But I've watched enough of both of those shows that they kind of shaped up my tastes or my personality or whatever, that it felt like I should still point them out. But yeah, there's that. I also made a list of my favorite movies. So there's a lot of, actually, hold on. Reorient myself a bit, make it a little more dynamic. Have fun with it. But yeah, here's just kind of a brief list of some of my favorite movies. I am a Disney fan, so I do like, so just like kind of just my general top 5 favorites for Disney: Hunchback of Notre Dame, Aladdin, Emperor's New Groove, Beauty and the Beast, Princess and the Frog. Especially Hunchback of Notre Dame might be one of my all-time favorite movies in general. There's also Pixar, Incredibles. I finally saw Incredibles 2 recently. I liked it. I liked it enough. I don't know overall how I'd rate it, but thought it was decent enough. Though Coco is a very close second. If I weren't nostalgia blind for Incredibles, Coco would be my number 1. I like some DreamWorks movies. There have been some solid ones. How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda are probably the few objectively good DreamWorks movies that at least I've seen. B-Movie is just, it's bad, but it's entertaining in how bad it is. And I like the first 3 Shrek movies. Yes, even Shrek the Third. Like, I saw Shrek Forever After. People say it's good. I don't know if they're lying or there's a conspiracy, but I fucking hated that movie. And I guess if I had to pick a favorite director, it'd probably be Edgar Wright, just because of Scott Pilgrim and Hot Fuzz, because both of those movies are so incredible. Anything else truly noteworthy? I guess I could, like, I have him in the margins down there, but I do not really care for the MCU. I'm kind of exhausted with superhero movies on the whole. But I will say, at the very least, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, those might be, like, the MCU movies that I absolutely love the most. They're a fun time. I don't really have any hype for anything else Marvel, even the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it's something. I put Nightmare Before Christmas in there, despite that I also put go-to Christmas movies, because I just, like, people are back and forth about Nightmare Before Christmas being Halloween or Christmas movie. I just cut out the middleman and I say it's a Thanksgiving movie. I'm planning on watching it Thanksgiving weekend. I don't care. But yeah, since we are getting about to the holiday season, I went ahead and made a brief list of go-to Christmas movies. Christmas Vacation, Scrooge, Jingle All the Way, and the first two Home Alone movies. Before anyone says anything about Home Alone 2 being samey, it's still fun. Also, Tim Curry. He makes any bad movie great. And yes, I've mentioned it before, but despite my appearance, as you might be able to see, despite all of that, I do genuinely enjoy anime. I have watched anime since I was a kid, but I don't think I really became like otaku-ish until about right before I got into college. My brothers started to find some shows and they recommended stuff to me, and yeah, I just started finding my own stuff. And I listed down some of my favorites and some of the ones that, even early ones that I watched that got me into anime, but if I could just point out something that I don't think people really talk about, comedies, like the ones that I have at the top, Devil is a Part-Timer, Sergeant Frog, Shin-Chan, etc. They're comedies, and they are some of the most unhinged, batshit insane shows I have ever watched. I don't know if it's something with Japan or just how anime does things specifically. And yes, there's plenty of unhinged shows outside of anime, outside of Japan, but something about anime specifically just goes balls to the wall, and I absolutely love it. Like, we need more shows like this. Like, I am glad that we've been getting more Devil is a Part-Timer, and I wish we would get more English dubs of Sergeant Frog and Shin-Chan, because those were fucking gold, but, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, and then other non-comedy shows. There's some shonen anime, of course. I've been trying to watch some older shonen anime, but I don't know, for some reason they just don't hook me as well as these other ones have. I don't know what it is. Like, I tried going back to rewatch Dragon Ball, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, and Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't dislike them by any means. They were enjoyable, but it just didn't hook me in the same way that ones like Fairy Tail, My Hero Academia, Black Clover have been able to get me invested. I don't really know what it is exactly, and I know there's One Piece that everyone's talking about, but seriously, who the fuck has time to catch up on all that One Piece? I'm gonna try. I'll try to watch it, but I make no guarantees if I'll actually get into it. We're just gonna we'll wait and see when I get a bit more time, because my backlog of shows and movies is already ludicrous. Speaking of movies, I decided to put Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movies on this slide, because why not? Those are good. I think if I had to pick favorites, definitely Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, Cat Returns, Princess Mononoke. They are very fun times, very beautifully animated. Like, my god, the man knows anime, even if he does say it's a mistake. Can't quite say I blame him sometimes, but also books. So yes, I do write. I do read books. I would like to say, I would like to encourage other people too. But some of my favorites, I would have just left it at the Percy Jackson series, but I've discovered that literally anything Rick Riordan has written is my favorite. Heroes of Olympus, Red Pyramid, Apollo, Magnus Chase, they're all actually really good. Like, just the way he writes those kind of stories is so engaging. But, okay, no. Actually, if I were to recommend any book to anyone who might not be into reading, I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell by Tucker Max. It was recommended to me by my oldest brother, And then it was later recommended by my English teacher in my senior year of high school, which baffles me because this is one of the most inappropriate, raunchiest books of any media I have ever experienced. It's literally just a guy talking about just getting drunk and getting laid and shitting in a hotel lobby. It's wild, but it is a fun read if you're that open to gross out adult humor. Like, it is definitely on my recommended list. Like, 100%. Even if you're not into reading. I don't know if there's an audiobook for it. That would probably help, but it's definitely up there. I've been talking a lot. I don't really talk this much often. That's something I'm gonna have to get used to with streaming, but I'm gonna get a drink. Sorry if any of that picked up on the microphone. This thing's actually more powerful than I expected. For also into almost all of my books, except for probably those last two, are primarily, or maybe not primarily, but are comedy focused. I don't know. I mean, if there are any other serious book recommendations, just out in the wild, I don't know why I keep saying out in the wild all of a sudden. That's not even something I say. What the hell? There are some out there in general, like maybe on Twitter or something. Like, I don't know. I could use more stuff to read. I try and read every night. Just, I don't know. I've been finding a bunch of random fantasy books, just so I have something to read, because I enjoy it. Anyway, what's next? Oh, right. I actually kind of forgot about this slide. I don't think I saw it when I was editing my stuff recently, but, yeah, webcomics. I've actually wanted to do webcomics for a few years before I actually started. I've seen a couple. I think Cyanide and Happiness and The Oatmeal were probably some of the bigger ones that I found first that I've thoroughly enjoyed. But I think it wasn't until I found Matthew Toronto's Brawl in the Family or Katie Teardrick's Awkward Zombie. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. And also VG Cats. That's kind of an old one. They haven't updated in ages, but those are like the big ones that got me wanting to do video game parodies. Like with Smash Brothers or any games in general. There's the Pokemon one that I really enjoyed. But those are the stuff that really got me wanting to make parody comics and eventually post them online. But the bottom two, the ones I discovered those pretty recently, RPG by Brianne Drouhard and Devil's Candy by Clint Bickham and Priscilla Hamby. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering any of those names. They're both really good, and I highly recommend them, but I think those ones in particular were the ones that really inspired me to try doing an original series like That Shield Kid. Like, I just wanted to do a goofy fantasy story with my own characters, and I had something a little more generic in mind, but these stories kind of got me wanting to do my own story. There's also Merryweather Media and VShoujo Lore. I already talked about that, and yeah, is also really good. But yeah, and I'm still doing the webcomic game. I'm still very much in that, doing the best that I can with my style and the time that I have. Okay, yeah, music. So also noticing more spacing errors. What the fuck? But yeah, my music taste is really, really broad. I have a lot of different kinds of artists and genres that I'm into. And really any genre, like even stuff that I don't really listen to, like country or dubstep or any techno, even those have at least one or two songs that I do genuinely enjoy. But it's hard for me to kind of narrow down exact tastes or style, genres or what have you. So I just kind of went through my old ass iPod and just looked through all of the artists that I knew more than one song for, and just put down a list here. But if anyone's curious about my music taste, it's the answer is yes. I don't know how to make it any clearer than that. Okay, so that's enough kind of rigmarole. How about more hopes and dreamsy kind of stuff? What are my goals in branching out into live streaming and videos and VTubing? So kind of break it down to two categories. My most immediate goals is going to be, besides streaming in general, I want to post highlight videos. So I discovered VTubing just a couple of years ago. I think it was right when the HoloLive EN HoloMyth started. That was when I found them. But yeah, and it branched off after that, most prominently with the girls who would be in VShojo, Nanners and Iron Mouse, etc. But yeah, kind of after that into where I am now, the only time I ever really see VTubers or watch them regularly enough is through highlight videos or clips, but I don't really have the time to watch full-on streams. If I make the time for any specific game or collab or any particular topic, or if it's something that I could just have on the background while I'm drawing or scrolling through Twitter, that would work. But I can't really make the time for full streams. So that's why I really want to get into making highlight videos. I'm of course going to have the VODs available on my YouTube too, if you want to actually watch the full streams and all their scuffed glory, but I would like to do regular highlights for all of my streams, and it's probably gonna be a while before I'll be able to do that and make time for it, since I'm the only one doing everything. Maybe one of these days I can try and find an editor to help me out, but that'll be my hope. So if you can't make my streams or don't have the time for VODs, you can just get the biddies. Wait, that's a Twitch thing, I think. Get the important stuff. So here's the next one. So I mentioned before Smash Brothers. That's my all-time favorite video game franchise. And I would like to try and be a Smash streamer to an extent. I have other games I'd like to play, but I'd like to see if I can do like monthly themed Smash arenas, like some other streamers do. The only major thing is, one, gauging people's interests, if anyone would actually want to play with me. But more importantly, if they would be more interested in, or if they would be willing to do more casual focused gameplay than competitive, like items and stages besides Final Destination, you know? I'll touch on that a bit more tomorrow, but that sort of thing. I talked about it before, but finish Breath of Fresh Air, my first actual comic project that I can actually finish. That's going to be my goal. And then after that, I was going to do like a grace period of like a couple of chapters of that Shield Kid. Get more work done on that. But also give me time to figure out if I want to start a new parody comic series talking about a different game, or if I want to do something themed around like my VTuber model with Stephen D Comics, or hell, maybe even those little snack food guys that I drew for my break screen. I don't know. I have a couple ideas for a parody, but I'm not sure. I guess it's also seeing how the streaming stuff goes and all of that. So let's see. Oh, that's actually something I didn't mention. So not only do I like books, like reading and writing, I'm writing my own books. I've been writing a 5-part novel series for a few years now, since my junior year of college about, and I'm trying to find spare time to work on that. For a while, I had the first 2 books finished, or at least tentatively finished, because I'm open to making changes if I need to. But I've been in a kind of rewriting phase recently, and I went back and I redid stuff from book 1. I actually, there's another idea that I want to put into the first book, but I want to try and find time to get back to book 2, but it has been really difficult finding the time to go back to writing. But I really want to. That's a project I care about. And another goal that honestly feels a little weird and a little embarrassing to admit, but I would like to get to know other people, other VTubers or streamers or artists or anyone in this community, because I see all sorts of collabs and all sorts of people working together in here, and it just seems fun. I would like to try and branch out of my comfort zone and actually be a part of a community. I know VTubing can be messy at times, but it's like, if that's going to be the thing to stop you from trying to get involved in the community, then you probably shouldn't get involved with any community, because that's not exclusive to just VTubing. Everywhere has issues and potentially drama and even some toxic people that could be messing with the space. It's like, that's true of everywhere. It's not really sure the best course of action, but just show some care in trying to find people to work with. I don't know. I'm not really in the quite in the community yet. Just have to see how things go, but it still feels weird talking about that live. But some of my other goals, kind of the hopeful, loftier goals that I have set. One is full-time streaming. I mean, it's easy to say this now since I've just started and I haven't actually done much, but I like the idea of streaming live. At the very least, it seems like just something that's more in my alley of things that I would want to do. And I don't really know, like, part of the reason I'm not jumping right into it now, aside from the fact that I don't really have an audience, or at least an active audience, but it's kind of that, making money off of this, and getting into content creation in a creative space as a career is kind of sketchy. It's like, there's all sorts of things that could go wrong or could prevent you from making a livable wage, and things are expensive these days, and even my current job wasn't enough to find a decent... I mean, there were places available, apartments, but not a lot within my price range, and not a lot that seemed okay to deal with, especially for streaming. So that's why I'm streaming from my parents' house. But who knows? Who knows where I'll be in a year or even just a couple of months when I do this. Won't know until I try, and I'll try my damnedest. The other thing is videos. I wouldn't mind. I actually really enjoyed making these dumb video skits that I have on my YouTube. They're still very cheap, and I'm very new to editing, but I've really enjoyed myself, and I wouldn't mind making more skits or other kind of videos, like branching off into animations or trying to do comic dubs. If I can find the time outside of streaming and other stuff, I wouldn't mind trying to do more. I actually had another skin mind that probably would be fun, but I'll wait on that. I've talked about it before, but playing violin again, I feel like that could be something I could do. Trying to do covers, or maybe just do Christmas songs, make a Christmas album. Everyone makes a Christmas album. My brother's made a Christmas album. Why not I? Also wouldn't mind trying to sing a bit more, or maybe learn another instrument. Piano might be up my alley. I know we used to have a keyboard. I don't know if we got rid of it or what, but I feel like that'd be something I could do that wouldn't be super intrusive to neighbors or my parents. And also, going back to my novels, I would like to finish writing them, and I also like to try and publish them. I would prefer to wait on publishing, specifically when I actually finish writing, because stuff like Kingdom Hearts has kind of gotten me paranoid about having an exact plan for my stories and making it seem like I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I want to make sure I have a cohesive story down, so I would like to wait until I am at least most of the way through the last book and I know where the series is going to end before I try and reach out to get my books published. But I'm putting in the time and effort. It's something that I would really like to see happen. Then, probably my loftiest dream that I probably won't be able to get to doing is make my own video game. I think every video game fan every creative wants to try and make their own game. And if I was going to make one, it was either going to be my own platform fighter or an adaptation of That Shield Kid. And I had something interesting in mind for that, kind of based off of Zelda 2, that I think would be interesting. But again, I'm not expecting to go anywhere with the gaming, or with making a video game front. That's just something to add to the list, and something, I don't know, it's nice to dream, you know? I'm gonna grab another drink, because I'm talking a lot, and I can't help but feel like I might have a headache coming on. That's gonna be fun to deal with tonight. Again, I apologize. I'll check the VOD later, see if that's too loud coming in. Okay, so here's the big thing that I want to address. My schedule. So I am going to be consistent, and my streams will be on YouTube. I've talked about it on Twitter, decided YouTube was better than Twitch for my purposes. But I will stream on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, starting somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock Pacific time. I also have other American time zones. I'm sorry if you're watching in another country and none of these jive with you. I tried to look up other time zones and it was just way too complicated. I do apologize. But yeah, as long as I don't have any major fuck-ups like today, it should be 12:30 to 1 o'clock. And it'll probably be about 4 to 5 hours long, wrapping up by 5 o'clock, 5:30-ish. Pretty much like right around now, where the time is now, so I can make time for dinner. I was actually gonna make something that took an hour to cook, but whatever. But yes, the big reason for this is, and I have it in bold, I am a part-time cartoon VTuber and webcomic artist. I work a full-time job on the weekdays. Most of my waking hours are spent working at this job. I am either getting up and getting ready to go, or after that, I'm having dinner, drawing, doing comic work, scrolling through my social media, catching up on shows and videos and what have you, then wrapping up by like 9 o'clock, and showering, brush my teeth, reading, and then getting enough sleep, so I'll be rested enough to try and work. So trying to stream on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, is not in the cards for me. I can't. I have to do it on the weekends. And it's plausible. Well, I mean, of course it's possible I'm doing it now. The only reason I'm doing it today, in case you don't know, it's Veterans Day where I'm at, and I do get Veterans Day as a holiday off, so that's why I was able to squeeze in a debut stream today before I stream on the actual weekend. But yeah, since that's the case, I'm only able to stream so little, so my output of contents in the streaming VTubing space is going to be very minimal. But I'm going to try to throw in a bit more. So my work had a policy change in regards to vacation time, and so they're only going to carry over a certain number of hours into the next year. So they try to encourage us to use more leave before the year ends. So part of what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to try and schedule bare minimum one extra Friday off a month, and I'll do an extra stream. Whether I'll keep doing a playthrough, I'll try and do one of those Smash arenas that I was talking about, or try and do something else. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm going to try and get in a bit more. And I'm also planning on taking a week off in March. So there's like a big stretch of time between President's Day in the middle of February and Memorial Day at the end of May, where there's just no paid holidays off. So that just seems like a good time to take a week-long vacation. So I try to do that anyway. My oldest brother's also getting married around that time, so I am going to schedule a week off for that, but I'll also try and throw in some extra streams. I'll tweet out if it gets approved and what I might be doing. So that is my plan as a part-time streamer, with as trying to make as much time as I can. I'm sorry I can't do more. Probably better I try and get as much practice as I can, because you know, I'm new and it's all scuff, but I'm gonna try and get in as much streams as I can. But thankfully it's consistent, so literally just tune in Saturdays and Sundays. When I say there, I'm also gonna post on all of my socials what my stream will be and when I go live. But yeah, I have a better understanding of what went wrong today, so I should be able to avoid that. But that is the plan. And it's also through that I don't really need to make a schedule, since it's always going to be on the weekends. So that's been nice. But I went ahead and I made a schedule. I posted on all my socials, but here it is again. So the big socials at the top here that are the main important ones for this are my YouTube channel, stephendcomics, and my Twitter at stephendcomics. I have the start times. So the streams for this weekend, today was the debut. Tomorrow, at Saturday, at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, one of those times, if I'm not having any issues, it'll be on time, I'm going to do Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm going to dedicate an entire stream trying to get at least one character into Elite Smash, and I'm sure that's going to be painful for its own reasons. Sunday will be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm just going to race with randos on the internet, just do something casual, something simple, and something that I do thoroughly enjoy, just racing. And then starting next weekend is going to be my first full playthrough of a game, being Pokemon Legends Arceus. I know it's a lot of Nintendo stuff. I was actually originally gonna play Bloodborne first, my very first Soulsborne game, but what happened was around my birthday, my brothers reached out and wanted to know what I wanted. I didn't really want for anything. The only thing I really wanted were like video games, so I didn't have to spend money for streaming, because I am a cheapskate, I will admit. And the one game that I really wanted to play that we didn't already have was Pokemon Legends Arceus. I let him know, but I held off on getting it because I wanted to stream it when I became a VTuber now. So it'd be a while, and but they went ahead and they got it for me for my birthday back in August, and it has been on my desk staring at me for the past 3 months. About It's been driving me crazy that I have not played it yet. So I decided not to start with it because I really wanted to start mainly with Smash Brothers because I adore that game and I thought it'd be a good one to start, and also Mario Kart because that just sounded like a chill time. But after that, I'll finally play Pokemon Legends Arceus. And that'll be my plan for the weekends until I finish. Probably after that point I'll do Bloodborne, but I'll tweet out if there's anything different. But that's gonna be consistent. I do have a 4-day weekend in around Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna stream on Thanksgiving. I might stream on the Friday after that. Maybe not. I'll send out a message on my socials if I decide to stream. If I don't, then just assume that I'm not streaming. And then I know Christmas is going to be a bit wonky. There should be, I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure someone might yell at me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be new Mario Kart tracks coming in December. I'm taking the Fridays before Christmas and New Year's off. Because I automatically get the Mondays after them off since they fall on a Sunday, but I'm also taking the Fridays off too. And I'm thinking I won't stream on Christmas or Christmas Eve, but I think I will stream on that Friday. And if there are new Mario Kart tracks, I'll try them out and just do a casual Mario Kart stream. And then next weekend, I think I'll just do extra gaming streams for whatever I'm playing at the time or whatever new game I'm going to start. But yeah, that's the plan. And that's pretty much it for me at this point. Yeah, it was a debut and had its fair share of scuff. Can you really call it a VTuber stream without scuff, right? That's the thing. And yeah, admittedly, this wasn't my best starting outing, but I don't know. I'm not enough of a baby to think that this was enough to stop me. I'm still gonna keep going. I'm gonna power through. I'm used to having rough starts and not having a lot of eyes on me. But I figure someone's bound to find the stream. Someone's bound to find my links. Someone's bound to give me a watch, and maybe they will enjoy it. Maybe it'll put a chuckle on their face. And that's all I really want to do. I just want to entertain. And even if not on stream, maybe just in a VOD or highlights or maybe some of the shit posts on Twitter or wherever. If I could just accomplish that much, that's enough for me. And I hope if you do find the stream that you're able to get some enjoyment out of it, or maybe some curiosity when I actually start streaming. I guess admittedly this was a bit more of a formality because it was kind of what people usually start with. I really just want to get into the gaming part of it. So I'm more so looking forward to tomorrow when I actually start gaming. And yeah, I'm hoping you'll enjoy it too. And yeah, if you do wind up finding this, the VOD of this, or maybe the highlights if I do decide to make highlights of this, thank you. Thank you for reaching out and taking the time out of your day to watch me or check out any of my stuff. I do really appreciate when you do, even if you don't like, I'm sure you're out there somewhere, and if you are, I do appreciate you. We all appreciate you. I'm sure every VTuber appreciates when someone gives them a moment of their time to watch their shenanigans. It's nice to know that there are people who are interested at all in watching us. Yeah, I don't really know what else to do here, but I think that kind of wraps it up from me. Again, I'm going to be streaming not quite the same time, 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere between there, Pacific time and my time. If nothing goes wrong, I'll be streaming then. And I'm going to do a first proper stream. If you want to watch, feel free to. Thank you again for stopping by. And yeah, have yourselves a good night.